Hello, everyone, and thank you for joining us for today's episode. It is a cool episode because it marks the last day of August, which just makes me feel even more bullish. So I'm happy about that. Also, don't forget, today is the closing day for the Las Vegas NASCAR V.I.P contest, which is in the descriptions below. Can't wait to announce a winner to join us all in Las Vegas on September 25th. So I'm excited about that. And then quickly, don't forget anything Market Rebellion Trade the Chain says on this or analyzes or shows you or whatever we do. It's just education, not financial advice. So that being said, we're going to hit some public equities correlated to crypto, I believe. CJ, is that correct?
Yeah, specifically Mara, because we had some unusual activity in that one this morning, already up almost 1% on the day. So a lot of interesting stuff. We're going to jump into that and more.
And then Monty's going to come to us with some unusual crypto activity.
Yes, I guess you could say that, Alex. This morning, sentiment for Uniswap absolutely popped. But this has been a weird month. We'll take a look at the month of August and kind of what has been dictating price action this month and maybe what we can look to in the month of September as well.
Very good. All right, CJ, let's jump into the big boards, my friend.
All right, I'll go ahead and pull up the chart.
Can't believe summer's ending too. Jeez.
Yeah, but my friend, you live in an area where summer never ends. We're the ones in Chicago, so. So getting into Bitcoin here, it's kind of interesting because we're not seeing a whole lot difference. You know, of course, we had that bearish engulfing candle last night, recovered very quickly afterwards with some buy pressure, but still just a little very lackadaisical price action on Bitcoin. You know, we had talked about 42K being the kind of max pain threshold, a nice landing area for a potential springboard up into the 50s and 60s. However, the longer that we have kind of a consolidation around this price level and the longer that we allow the 20 smooth moving average to come up, ultimately the less likely I think we have of actually going and hitting that 42 level. So even if we do go down to say, 45 or 44, I see that being a strong area to get bought up off of support with some potential continuation higher. And the thing that I think is interesting that the options market is telling us is that Bitcoin might be pretty bullish here going into Friday and potentially next week. And the reason why I want to bring that up, aside from just technicals, is with a company known as Mara or Marathon Digital Holdings. And this is a crypto miner. It's one that has trended very nicely with Bitcoin throughout the last few months and has come down with MicroStrategy, Riot, all those others, but now has seen a good amount of option call buying this morning. And so I want to take you guys over to the secret area behind the Market Rebellion unusual option activity paywall, where we have some previous Mara option orders. So this morning we had right at 11, we had 5,300 September 3rd, so that's Friday, contracts for calls at a price of $41. And the open interest ratio to the amount of contracts bought was only 2,000 outstanding open interest at the time. Yet this order alone was over 2 times the overall open interest. So I always like to look for a 2-to-1 open interest ratio. That really shows a lot of conviction when it comes to a buyer relative to the outstanding amount of open interest contracts in the market. So we're seeing this one go for a price of 41. That would be the strike price, expiration on Friday. So those were bought when the stock was at a price of roughly $39, and we almost immediately shot up to 41, but are still just kind of hovering here for the time being. Still seeing a strong convergence in the RSI, not seeing any type of bearish divergence like what we've been seeing in Bitcoin these past few weeks. So, I'm interested in Marathon, and I'm interested in those Friday call options. You can get them on Robinhood. You can get them on a variety of different brokerages. But yeah, I'm going to be looking at that one. I think it actually gives us clues as to where the smart money or the options traders are going to potentially look for Bitcoin to go. A lot of times we talk about institutional players. Like I know for a fact, Citadel doesn't deal with physical delivery of Bitcoin. They just trade likely RIOTs, Mara, and then Bitcoin futures because they don't want to have to deal with actual physical delivery. And I think a lot of institutions will substitute trades in things like Mara and RIOT to avoid having to take the delivery of physical Bitcoin. So might be an area which shows us where we're going to lead next.
Interesting. You know, speaking of Robinhood, interesting. I'm sure a lot of folks caught the story on the pay for order flow proposed ban in the infrastructure bill. I think that's a big September issue. I would be. I'm going to keep my eyes on that because you mentioned firms like Citadel and Robinhood, and the main part of their business is pay for order flow. And I wonder what happens. As I go down this off-topic tangent. When the pay for order flow model, if it does get banned, I think that's going to be a very big hit for consumers going to buy stocks. What are your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's going to impact their business model in terms of commissions. I don't think they're just going to go from having zero commissions to back and reinstituting commissions, but the spread might get worse. I don't know. I don't know the profitability. I don't know the numbers Vlad is looking at on a daily basis. So.
Yeah. Okay. Very cool. Interesting. One of the comments. What are your thoughts on 88 for the next month? Monty, just a little post-it note when we go hit the unusual crypto activity on the back half of the show. Let's throw in ADA. Let's take a look at it and see where that's going. I know there's a lot of people hoping that bounces and gets over that $3 mark shortly. But Monty, what do you got?
Yeah, it's been a crazy month for crypto, like we talked about earlier. ADA has been a part of that. What a run that ADA's had following the announcement that smart contracts will be coming. But I want to start by talking about this right here. And that is probably, in my opinion, the weirdest thing of the month of August. And that was the amount of speculation we had in the NFT sector. And this had, some really big implications across the space. It was fun to see on Twitter everyone changing their profile pictures to these various punks and bulls in Alex's case. But really, this did have a profound effect on the network in many ways. I want to start by talking about Ethereum. And as you can see here, this is the total transaction fees for ETH. I mean, in the month of late July into August, when we saw this feverish speculation in NFTs, fees have risen incredibly high, and that's just because people are not just buying these NFTs but also minting them as well, and this is driving gas fees up significantly. I know it's I tried to do a swap on Uniswap just the other day, and the fees were incredibly high. So this NFT craze has really contributed to a lot of market dynamics that we're seeing play out right here. And first and foremost has been this sort of rise in gas fees and stagnation in price for ETH. That being said, it's also been a good thing in the sense that it's locked up a lot of value for ETH. We talk a lot about the DeFi Pulse Index and that total value locked and the value that it brings to the Ethereum network. But this is just another instance of that. Massive amount of speculation in NFTs, much of it on the Ethereum blockchain, and that has been a huge value prop for ETH in the last month. But this right here, this rise in gas fees has also been kind of a good thing for some other assets as well. So I want to take a look at Solana first and foremost. This thing has just been absolutely ripping in the last 2 weeks here, continuing to make new all-time highs, pulling back a bit now after just day of parabolic price action. But this has been one that I think has been a tremendous benefactor of the just absolute congestion we're seeing right now on the Ethereum blockchain. So Solana has been a big winner as a result of that. And one other that I noticed this morning, Uniswap. the sentiment for Uniswap went absolutely through the roof this morning. As you can see, price hadn't quite gone up yet, but the sentiment was super strong. And I think that also has something to do with the ETH gas fees. This is something that's talked about in the Glassnode Insight Report. Looking forward to the month of September, who may be the benefactor of some of this cooling down in the NFT space, and that may be the DeFi sector, because they have been so far the biggest losers over the last month, because the amount of detraction they've seen in price action heading to the NFT space. So looking back to these assets now, I think is a very valuable thing to do. And Uniswap has been performing tremendously well so far today. And CJ's talked a lot about this sort of cup and handle formation that we're seeing across the space, and Uniswap is no exception here. I think this thing is on the verge of breaking out here above this level and coming up to previous all-time highs. We're seeing a nice uptick in volume. It's broken above the SMA. We're getting a strong bullish engulfing candle here, and of course we have a very nice uptick in sentiment as well. So the month of August has been very weird, starting with this. And I think that it is just, inevitable that NFTs cool down a little bit. So it's only natural that people will look to the sectors that have been kind of cooling off while this other sector is heating up. And that's been DeFi. So these here, Aave, Comp, Uni, Yearn Finance, all of them right now are more or less still in a phase of accumulation and haven't broken out like we've seen with some other assets. So getting to Cardano as well, because we had a question about that. I think you can compare Cardano to Solana as another winner when it comes to that congestion that we've seen on the Ethereum blockchain. Obviously, there is the announcement that smart contracts are coming to Cardano. We've talked about all the building that's happening behind the scenes and all the potential avenues you can use to get exposure there. But I think that this is the start of a new era for Cardano. The smart contract era is going to bring in a ton of new value. And we're starting to see just the volume kind of shift here back to kind of what we were seeing in the beginning of the year. So Cardano is kind of cooling off a bit, but I think it's going to continue to climb once market momentum resumes. But overall, I think we're teeing up for September to be another very interesting month.
Yeah, I'm also thinking, first of all, I mean, here's Uniswap on the daily right here, and look at how far ahead sentiment just hit it before that price breakout. I mean, that's an amazing. If you didn't get a trade alert out of this chart, I don't know what gives it to you. One of the things that I also find interesting about Cardano is that little retracement that's happening. But I also think that, to your point, when the smart contracts come out, we're going to see a nice little pump in the price. My question is, do we think that this pump in the price is going to be artificial with a lot of sell pressure on the back end, or is it going to be substantiated and continue the rise up for Cardano?
Yeah, well, I mean, that really is the big question, but I think it's going to be substantial. I think this, hype is substantiated. CJ's pulled up that picture with, all the various development going on underneath the hood in Cardano. I think that this is something that people have been waiting for years. People have been speculating on Cardano while it has little to no utility. It's finally getting that utility, and I think this space is in the perfect space for a nice competitor to ETH to get some price action here. So I think it is substantiated. There probably will be a sell-off at the end of this market cycle, sure, but I think, like I said earlier, I think this is the start of a new era for Cardano, and it's going to be a bullish one.
Agreed. One comment real quickly. I want to go. Oh, did you have a comment on Cardano, CJ?
I wanted to give a free trade insight on Uni, because this thing is looking pretty primed, and I'm glad that Monty had brought it up.
I knew you'd like it from a technical perspective, CJ. It was hitting all your checks, including volume. So,
are you guys seeing this? Just want to double check.
Yeah. We're seeing this. We're seeing your hat. It's all good.
So yeah, you have the cup and then you have the handle, and if We've talked all this week and last week pretty extensively about two methods to play these cup and handles. First method that you can do, the aggressive method, which Uni is already satisfying because we're getting a large spike in volume and we're breaking up on a bullish engulfing candle out of that downward sloping trend line from the previous handle. So that and a close above this level at about 28 or 27 tonight would give me enough conviction to enter that trade and look for potential continuation. Say if I were to go with a more conservative approach, I would wait for Uni to cross above the top of the cup. So that would be at a price of roughly $31. And then similar to Serum and some of those other assets in the Solana ecosystem that have already broken out, I would look for some bullish continuation there as well. But I'll pass it back to you guys. Also, just last thing I'll mention, I think Bitcoin dominance falling is very interesting from a technical perspective as well, because it does kind of look like it did at the start of the previous alt season.
Yeah, it does. And obviously as the dominance recedes, it just means that you have the alts that are taking, that market share away from it. So it's always a positive note to follow. Two things I want to just hit the comments with. We have Gabrielle talking about Galaxy. I saw her post a couple times now with Galaxy, and Galaxy has investments in NFTs, DeFi, and crypto. They are a publicly traded company. One of the things with Galaxy is just coming, my opinion, Galaxy is just coming of age. You go back 15 months, 18 months, Novogratz was reporting massive revenue loss, earnings call over earnings call from the previous year and cycle. So I think it's, congrats to him. He's obviously made up a lot of ground off those losses and is allowed to build Galaxy out and diversify more and is having lots of success. But CJ, what do you think of GLXY as a stock, which, by the way, folks, is traded on the TSX exchange in Canada? But CJ, thoughts on GLXY?
I think it's going to do well. It looks nice from a technical perspective. And I'm talking long term, like in terms of the overall market cycle. If we are looking for blockchain equities in the short term, I would be looking at Mara, like what we discussed earlier in the show. But I still think Galaxy Digital has legs, especially when considering all of the pies that they have their finger in, to put it that way.
The another thing in the comments I want to bring up is let's see here. We had one from Q Diddy. I'm afraid the bull market will end before ETH 2.0 is released. Well, if you watch this show regularly, you're gonna know that we think that too. Because it has now been officially announced as of a month ago that Ethereum 2.0 will not be completed until the end of 2022 at the earliest. And our thoughts on the bull market cycle for this second leg vary, but only vary by a couple of months, and that's anywhere from December through the end of Q1. So yes, your thoughts would be in line with ours.
I still don't think that that's necessarily bearish for Ethereum, because that just gives individuals longer time to stake ETH for 2.0. We still see a massive increase in the amount of value and coins that are being staked. And that takes a lot of supply off the open market, which is not necessarily bearish, despite the fact that obviously it frustrates everybody when you have all these delays in 2.0, and then you have the threat of competitors like Solana, Polkadot, and Cardano coming up. But supply dynamics are still good.
It's interesting because I would say over the last week I've done about call it 35, 40 swaps, and my Ethereum, my gas fees have ranged in price per swap from $16 to $24, but never over. So I think I don't know, maybe it's the time of day or something. You got to do it at 3 a.m. Another one that I want to bring up is as an artist, I really think NFTs are the future. This is from the Vasic, who has a avatar that kind of scares me. But you know something, that's actually that's an interesting comment. I used to think that. I'm not necessarily sure. I do think that. As a matter of fact, I don't even know if Lucas Bradley is watching today, but I had dinner with him the other night, and he brought up some really compelling points about NFTs, and I think maybe, guys, we should have him on to kind of explain it, especially when it comes to ownership and copyrights and stuff like that. So Vasek, wait for that episode. We'll get him. We'll get him maybe early next week.
Be great to talk to Lucas. He's one of the few just really great and genuine people out there. Love Lucas.
Great from the technical side. He's like Hashoshi, right? You know, I don't know. I love watching Hashoshi when he gets to the technical stuff. Lucas is like our little Hashoshi. All right, let's see. Anything else from the comments? Well, DJ Crypto always flooding the comments with good stuff, except he pays a lot of gas fees. By the way, we just came back from our Daytona race, and I got to meet DJ Crypto in person, along with a lot of the other VGX heroes, and it was interesting. DJ Crypto stands about 10'8". Okay, he's a tall guy. And he sports his denim jacket, vest, and he's cool. DJ Crypto, he is his own man living his best life. So shout out to him and all the other VGX heroes I met. It was truly fun. Guys, what do we got on the agenda for Market Rebellion this week? Tomorrow, you have any? You have your regular Wednesday members thing going on.
We have, of course, yes, our member webinar, but we have a very special guest for the Daily Crypto Bite, which is live every morning at 9 a.m. Central Time. But tomorrow,
in the description, folks.
Yeah, thanks. We're going to be having Mike the Investor coming on. We're very excited. And then the week following him on Wednesday, we're going to have Rob from Digital Asset News.
Get out of here.
And yeah, Alex, you'll come on one of these days as well. But yeah, I'm really excited. Mike's a great guy. I'm so happy to do this, and I think it's going to be a great show.
I was on the phone with Rob yesterday, and I said to him, I'm going to call him out right now. I said to him, I said, Rob, you know, we all invite you to go do different things, do this, do that. He goes, you always have an excuse not to show up. He just, he's a very humble gentleman, and, doesn't want to always be in the limelight and stuff like that. But he's a good dude. I'm glad to see that. And Mike the Investor is an interesting cat to watch. I enjoy seeing his episodes on there as well. Also, I will give a shout out to DJ Crypto, by the way, too, who him and Daniel are doing a VGX roundtable tonight with Rob. So someone paid some big bucks to get Rob on that show. So it'll be an enjoyable one. I think that's at 8:00 tonight. I may be wrong, but definitely check it out over on DJ's channel. So what else we got? Anything, guys? Nah, that's about it. Quick hit of the markets. Folks, I will be traveling tomorrow, but it's really early so that I travel. So I'm not going to say we're not doing a show tomorrow, because I might be doing it out of a hotel room. But I'm just putting you guys on warning. Once again, don't forget to go visit marketrebellion.com /crypto. Get all the insights and hot tip alerts from CJ and Monty, as well as their member-only research reports or analyst reports, because I just saw one the other day that came out on Serum, and it's an interesting one. Folks, thank you very much. Hang on to your handlebars. Happy trading, and we will see you tomorrow.